In the early 2000s, there was a lot of discussion, at least within the master's program that I was involved in, about whether or not we should be more involved in really defining what technologies our students are using for their learning. We've come a long way since that time. What I do in my master's program at the University of Oldenburg, a partnership with University of Maryland in the United States, is we expose our students to a number of different social media. And so they can then choose what social media that they want to use and then develop their competencies over time. What we need to do, I think, as instructors, is we need to guide them through that process. We need to help them to identify, what are the important things that I am taking out of this environment. What are the benefits I'm getting from this media? In terms of developing digital competency skills, I think it's hard to answer that in terms of whether or not we should do this explicitly or implicitly. We could just say, well, go out and find it yourself, which is more of an implicit sort of response to that. But explicit, just an example of that is showing how we use the technologies for our teaching and really, scaffolding that whole process for the students, helping them to develop their competencies over time. So I think it's important that we help students to develop their digital competencies because digitalization is going to be critical. In the future. It's critical today, but it's going to be even more critical in the future. I don't agree with the viewpoint that our students come into the classroom being digital natives. Mark Prensky's work on digital natives. I don't think that we can say, oh, well, you're from this generation, so you're a digital native. You're not, so you're a digital immigrant. I think we all have the capability to learn how to use technology. What our students don't have, and this has actually been shown in more recent research, which of course I can't think of right now off the top of my head, but I could send it to anybody that's interested later, is that there isn't a difference between the digital natives and the digital immigrants. The digital natives are coming in and they don't know how to use these technologies for learning. And I think this is where the faculty can get involved because they can then show them how it is that they can use this for learning. Now, faculty might not know how to do this. They have to develop their digital competencies as well. And I think here, communities of practice would be extremely helpful for faculty in terms of sharing best practices, for saying, I'm having lots of problems with this. How do I solve this problem? This is my context. Finding other people that maybe have a similar context, and then finding solutions together for the different problems. And again, modeling how it is that they do that as faculty is going to influence our students, and especially if they're going to become teachers in the future, because our teachers today learned from a different model, and now what we're doing is we're creating new models. And so by our example, we're actually forming the students that will be teaching in the classrooms of tomorrow.